Hi, this is Scott Johnson from The Instance, and you're listening to the Epic Podcast.
This is the beginning and the end.
You're listening to the Epic Podcast Show with your hosts, Lignar, Walmardian.
She told me to tie her up and do whatever I wanted to her. So I took a stereo.
And Medi.
You think the expansion will make me fat?
Enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Howdy, folks. You're listening to Epic Podcast. We are a podcast for the WoW community. I am Metacakes. Happy birthday, Steve Perry.
Oh, my God.
And with me is my co-host, Lignar and Walmardian.
Really? Just don't stop believing, Medi.
His faithfully.
Just don't stop believing.
Oh, my God. So, I was thinking, listening to the intro, that we might have to call Lou or mail Lou or hit him up in Skype or something, because when we made that intro, Lignar was a dwarf.
Oh,
yeah.
And now
I thought about that, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to go away from that.
I don't know. Might have to come up with a new little sound clip.
Gotta keep it current.
I don't see him not being a panda for a while, but there might be another Lignar later that's a dwarf, so we might just want to hold off. We'll see.
Okay.
Good.
Good,
Anyway.
because I think he was going to be like, I quit!
Yeah, well, he might demand twice the amount of payment that we've given him, which we're very grateful for because it's 2 times 0 is 0, right? So.
But no, then I'm going to have to build stuff and
Yeah, but you like doing that.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to whine, damn it.
Oh, wine. Okay, thank you.
Anyways.
White,
So,
No, she just reminded me to take a drink of wine.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
Are we going to do the drinking game? Because I don't have any booze around me.
No, I think the drinking game is more for the chat room than us.
Oh.
So, I don't see Ro. Ro was the one he's like the referee.
Ro got a job, so...
Oh, he's not... Oh, I knew he got a job, but I didn't realize he was working tonight.
Well, he's on his way home.
Oh, okay. All right. So we might have to, recruit, maybe Broomfondle. Broomfondle's always here. So we might have to recruit Broomfondle to be, the backup referee if Ro's not here.
He's going to be like our drinking dungeon master. Is that what
As long as he's not one of those refs from that Seahawks game. Oh!
Bazooka.
Oh, I'm going to... Oh, okay. Let's carry on before I get into trouble. We lose fans or listeners.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? In game and out. Go, Lig.
Out of game. In game. Not a lot really. Since I think the last time I logged in was Thursday for raid. Go Team Furt. Then I left town for the weekend. Went to my nephew's 8th birthday party down in Dallas. It was good seeing them. I haven't seen them since I left Texas, really. I saw them in October when I was leaving, so it was really good seeing them. And it was really good seeing 70 degrees and sunny, especially since it's 3 outside right now. And then, I got back Sunday, and I didn't get home until yesterday afternoon, and just kind of been chilling, working on some side project type stuff. Fighting with Stitcher. For those of you listening live, if you listen on Stitcher, or if you listen on the website, if you happen to try to listen on Stitcher, we moved our feed and Stitcher didn't pick it up. I've been trading emails with them and I think it's fixed now. I haven't had a chance to confirm, so I've been dealing with stuff like that. So not much in game actually. I want to log into game and I need to get some mining and that sort of stuff in so I can help you make me a golem. So I got 6
more energy sources to make, and we still have a lot of living still to get.
All right. Well, we can talk about the numbers later, but yeah, I need to do that kind of stuff, and maybe tomorrow afternoon I can do some of that. But that's about it for me.
Oh.
Joe?
You guys are nerds. I need my energy sources, my living steels.
I just want a fucking mount, dude.
I don't like that goofy Tim Burton just spastic mount.
No. Hold on. I can tell you right now why I want that mount so bad, because my priest, when I rolled him, I made him an herbalist and an alchemist. And I made him an alchemist because I thought his original intention, and if anybody's ever played with me lately, they probably going to just their jaw hit the floor. I originally wrote him to be a healer.
Okay.
Because I had 3 other friends playing, and we thought, well, we could find one more person we can make, because we didn't really know. We were new to the game. And we thought, well, we'll just do 5-mans, and my buddy Owen was going to tank on his pally, and Silva was going to DPS on her kitty, and we had Ulthar on his hunter, and I'm like, well, I'll heal, because I hear healers are hard to find. I don't know, but I'm going to roll a healer, so I rolled my priest. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be a priest and doing this kind of support role type of thing, then I need to be able to make flasks and potions and that kind of stuff, so I made an herbalist and an alchemist. He has had those since his infancy. When back in the day, you could pick up professions at level 10 or 15? I don't remember. It's like level 10 now, but I think it was 10 then still back then.
Right.
I fucking hate druid herbalists. I want this mount so I can fly around and pick flowers and fuck you, druids.
It just looks like the goblin version of RoboCop's Ed 209.
Yeah, it does, which I'm a fan of. But but I have always been a form or a function over form type of person, and if this will let me piss in the Wheaties of druids who think they're going to pick that flower before me, I am all for it. It could be pink. It could be pink. Badly? It could be pink and fart rainbows. I don't care. Now it doesn't matter that much. In the expansion, when I'm leveling herbalism again, I'm going to want it. But actually, in the expansion, when I'm leveling herbalism, I'm not going to be able to fly anyway. So, anyway, sorry, Joe. How's your week been?
Sensing a lot of bitterness in this whole herbalism conversation. As far as I'm concerned, in game I've been leveling my hunter on a PvP server. I've been enjoying that whole aspect. I've been live streaming a lot of it, and basically, which even though it's kind of a long version, it's basically a gank montage at this point. I'm just like constantly being picked off left and right, but I'm enjoying the experience. It's been something, like I said, I've done in BC. I was on a PvP server at that time, and I really enjoyed it. So eventually, I'll be able to pick other people off. But
and this is a hunter, right?
This is a hunter.
Did you see the video about PvP on the Timeless Isle?
Yes,
Okay.
I tweeted that out. I found that on Reddit. So that may be something I ended up doing at some point when I
totally
do
would.
hit 90. I know that was kind of when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. But I'm happy with him, even in the PvP or in the heirlooms that I have that aren't PvP. In the BGs, I'm actually competing. I'm killing people one-on-one, so that's not normal for me. I usually suck in PvP, so live streaming as much as I can lately. That in and out of WoW. Also playing Hearthstone and stuff on a live stream. Like yesterday, I did. It was about 15 minutes away from being an 8-hour stream. I mean, I just streamed all day and had a blast, and a lot of people are coming to the stream more than I've ever had before, just because I'm doing it more often. So I'm really happy with that aspect of it. And I just started an EU Hearthstone account because it is now open beta there as well. So I'm going to get to play some Hearthstone with my EU folks. So that's going to be what I'm going to be doing even next week. So looking forward to doing that whole thing. But that's pretty much it. I mean, outside of game, I did get a job. It's nothing much, but
hey, job's job, dude.
It is. I mean, I do need. I'll take money any way I can get it. I know that sounds horrible, but at this point, it's somewhat true. So.
Well, and before we move on to Medi, I just want to remind people we have a straw poll. I just put it in the chat room because it's not in the show notes, and it just came to mind, right?
Yeah, I kind of purposely forgot to add that.
Yeah, well, I'm smart.
Smart.
I do have a lot of people asking me what I'm going to do with my 90, and I was like, hey, go over here. And
refer to the straw poll. And the interesting thing is like you're leveling a hunter, and right now hunters are winning. So.
I know, I find that very interesting. Oh, that is one thing that I did forget. I did make a kind of a commitment at this point that it seems like in Wrath I did do 10 characters to the cap, and then in Kata it went to 20. So I have decided that I'm going to go for 30 abilities in this expansion.
Alright, so when the men in white coats show up,
look, it's just a natural progression.
And you called arts nerds? Really?
I'm hey, I may be a nerd, but I'm uber nerd. I am. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it completely crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to have 23 anyway, and I've got this guy over, he's like 74 now, and I've got a DK that's over in AIE that's 70, and so there's going to be 25. It's not going to be that bad, especially with heirlooms being cross-realm now. So, yeah. I know, I'm sorry.
So don't apologize for being crazy.
It's a sickness. It's a sickness. It really, when I don't have a character to level, I kind of feel lost.
Aww.
Fair enough.
I know. It centers me. There's something about just sitting there leveling a character that just like makes my OCD just feel better. It does. It calms me down.
That's how I feel when I like rearrange guild banks.
There you go. Everybody has their thing.
I play Bejeweled with the gems.
Speaking of doing stuff in game and whatever else, Medi, what have you been up to this week?
Not a damn. I'm just kidding. Well, I have been leveling a priest over on Airy Peak and CTR with Ro, but we haven't leveled in a couple of days because of the real life job that he just got. Grats. Raiding with Vert. Raiding on Tuesdays. I have been raiding with I don't remember the first part of their name, but it's another raid team within AIE. OHS Uken Hosen style.
Uken Hosen style, probably.
I think that's it. It's either Uker or Uken or one of those O words. But like Civ from Fert, a couple of the other Ferters, they're also in this team, so it's great to.
That's it, because it's. I knew it was a handful of Fert folks that were in there.
Mm-hmm. It's great to just bring in like my monk or my druid, and get a little bit of time and flex with them instead of just my pally. I joined in on Training Dummies live show last night, and they had Megacode, who is badass Holy Paladin.
Yeah. And
this is kind of a little shout out to him, but he had been following me for the longest time, and I just realized and noticed, and I feel horrible. So I started following him back. I was like, what? Holy Paladins. I'm going to listen in. So I joined in and heard some things that made me really question my Holy Paladin. And the way that I've been...
I was going to say, make you question the class itself, or make you question how you've been playing it?
How I've been playing it, and how I've been gymming and stacking. And I had emailed him, asking for help, because I ended up passing out to go to bed during their conversation. So I emailed him and I asked him to look at my paladin. So I'm going to be changing up a lot of gems and reforges, and he noticed that I was stacking a lot of spirit and haste. And I know about the whole mastery is your thing for holy paladins, but I thought I had enough mastery, but apparently I don't. So that was.
Have you been asking Mr. Robot?
I had.
Oh, there might be, they might have a couple builds in there, if you hit that drop down, because I know when I was tanking on a DK, they had an avoidance build and a mastery build that you could just pick, and then it would do your stuff with that build. Right. So you might want to check that.
Right. Well, for me and for Holy Pallies, what I saw was they had a PvE mastery build and then the PvE haste build, or burst healing. And I was in the burst healing range and not mastery.
Oh.
So, yeah, he gave me a couple pointers in email, so I'm definitely going to be trying that and see how it goes. So.
Yeah. So you might be there's already people in a raid for Team Fert saying hey Medi, slow down, you're making us all look bad. And even though there's people out there just really crushing it on the heals.
We have some amazing healers in Fert.
But so you might be giving them a run for their money after this, maybe?
I hope so. I love that friendly competition that we have within Kill Team 6 that we lovingly call it. But it's sometimes I feel that during certain boss fights and even during some of the trash mobs, I'm bored to death. And I'm, if not number 2 or number 1. I'm 3rd in heals.
Right.
And I'm bored to death, and I'm over healing, and I'm spamming everything I got, and I'm just like, woo! And then during some boss fights, when there's not a lot of heavy damage, I feel like I'm kind of just twiddling my thumbs.
You mean
And
like protective stance or whatever it is on whichever boss it is?
Defensive stance?
Defensive stance, yeah.
Yeah, on Nazgrim.
There's probably not a lot of damage going out during that phase, is there? Unless somebody's got one of the rogues on him or something.
Well, when
And
people
even then,
have
if they're
assassins
doing-
on them, it's...
I want to say, even then, if they're doing it right, they shouldn't be taking any damage because they're going to be running away.
Well, I'm like, oh god, I don't want to call him the boss from Dragon's Soul. Malcrick?
Malcroc? Whatever, I don't know, it was a year ago.
Whatever that dude's name is. But that's some insane, challenging healing for me, and I can't wrap my head around the absorbs and all that. So I don't know how this is going to change for me. I'm hoping it's going to change for the better, because I feel that I'm a great burst healer. I have a lot of burst healing, but I don't feel that I am putting out that much heals when it comes to heavy damage.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, but I've always never been the one to look at numbers.
Yeah, but like you said, Heal Team 6, you guys have that friendly competition going on, so...
Right, I gotta beat Civ. And
Good luck with that.
And those druids that just ruined my life.
Well, they just hot everything and run around like a tree. Or run around as a tree, so... Anyway, you guys ready to move on? We got a new segment. We talked about maybe changing the order a little bit, but I think we just need to go with it the way it is in the show notes, so... Are you done wrapping up your week? Because we've been going for like 20 minutes and we haven't even gotten into like news and stuff. So, all right, so guys, this is a new segment that we're adding to the show. We mentioned this like a month ago or so. Just finally came to fruition. This isn't something we're going to do every week. This is something that when it's appropriate, we'll do it. So anyway, if I remember correctly, it's about a minute long or so, minute and a half maybe.
Roughly around then, yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to mute and I'm going to drink some wine, and here we go.
You know what makes me sick? You know what makes me so angry? I just want to cut my mouse cable with a spoon. Blizzard's going to sell level 90 characters. And we all know when they say they're going to test this feature soon, that they're just going to drop it right on the live servers, and noobs everywhere are going to start buying characters, not learn how to play while leveling, and displace the highly skilled players that did learn how to play while leveling in LFR. And those won't be any fun anymore. Oh, so you have a friend that you'd like to get into Warcraft, but they don't want to take the couple weeks or so to level all the way up to 90 with no heirlooms and then have to get gear to run the same content as you? Well, tough. They just have to grind through the 90 levels of stuff that a lot of us don't want to do again just because it's there and we had to do it, right? Hellfire Peninsula is the greatest questing experience ever. I don't care if you are my best friend or my girlfriend or even my wife. Roll a lobby and start questing, noob. I mean, the spells and abilities you use while questing are exactly the same as the ones you use in 5-mans, right? And then in raid content, it's no different again. Blizz is just catering to the casuals again. I mean, if you can't be bothered to level through the content nobody else wants to do more than once, then you don't need to play this game. I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to get ready for bad players in random groups. Maybe if we bitch and moan enough, Blizzard will listen to us rather than the market research that they've probably done that shows that leveling from 1 is a deterrent to new and returning players joining the game. Wake up, Azeroth!
Alright, so that kind of leads us into the first actual news item, and I do have the news bumper, but the levels are screwed up, so I'm not going to play it.
Aww, let's news!
So anyway, this doesn't actually have my name next to it, so I'm going to let Joe talk. Because his name's next to it.
Well, you can go right ahead. That was just a generalization. So it leads. I mean, you're the one who just did wake up Azeroth, so it's appropriate. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we got what they call it, scouting report for Warlords of Draenor, which is something in the past 2 weeks we've been begging for on the show. Is like, give us something about Warlords. And then right like the day after we got the mount, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but we got the scouting report, and basically the only thing it seemed to really have anything was, you know, the pre-orders are going to be available digitally, the digital pre-orders rather, the digital version and the deluxe edition, is that what they call it? The digital pre-orders are going to be available soon, TM. And they, you know, are going to have a collector's edition, and I still wish that they would do something for those of us who get a collector's edition. To other companies have managed to do this. I don't know why Blizzard can't. Let me pre-order it through Amazon or pre-order it directly from Blizz. I don't care. Get my key, get the in-game goodies, and then send me the box later that's got the mouse mat and the book and the soundtrack. And I want all that stuff. I still want that stuff.
Yep.
But I mean, luckily for me, like I do collector's editions. I buy them on Amazon, and I get them day of. And I'm not the guy that takes a day off work when an expansion comes out, so it doesn't matter. It's home. It's here when I get home. So, I'm not sure that that'll be the case living where I am right now, because UPS typically doesn't get here till about 6 o'clock in the evening. So I might be sitting here like running up and down the walls or something. But they did say that people who pre-order digitally are going to get the boost to 90 right away, and that they are thinking about testing the ability to buy level 90s. So, and that kind of prompted the Wake Up Azeroth that you just heard, and because there was a big uproar on Twitter about it. How do you guys feel about? I mean, honestly, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit last week, Joe, but we didn't have the scouting report. Like,
Right.
how do you feel about being able to buy a level 90, or in Medi too? But
I mean, honestly, I just don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter whether people want to do that or not. I've always been of the mind this game is an MMO. It's constantly shifting. So, you know, you just got to get used to these kind of additions and changes and the evolution of this thing. And, yeah, it's going more to purchasable stuff. But, you know, it's going to lean that way till it goes free to play and stuff anyway. So people just need to accept that this is the state of the game now. It's not going to be what it used to be.
Well, you know, some of the arguments I saw on Twitter right after this came out was, I think you ought to have a level 90 before you can buy one. And I'm like, between now and the time Warlords comes out, sure, maybe, okay, why not? You know, at least gate it a little bit so it's a limited audience to test it with. Whatever. But after Warlords, kind of defeats the fucking purpose.
Yeah, I mean, the Wake Up Azeroth nailed a bunch of points. You know, it's like, the skilled players that are in LFR that already did do the leveling experience, and you know, just I don't know, the fact that we did this stuff, so everybody else has to do it. Which is, I think that's if anything, I think that if there's people that have an issue with it, it seems like that's the prevailing thing.
It's the new version, in my opinion. It's the new version of, back in vanilla.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I think I tweeted that day when all that stuff was going out. It was like them rose-colored glasses, because that is one of the bigger culprits when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I mean, if you vanilla, we all have, you know, those of us that played that back then, or even any of the previous expansions that you played in, we all have our memories of it. And at the time, they were great, partially because we didn't know any better. It was the best thing at that time. But if you went back now and did vanilla, I mean, somebody was trying to argue with me on my YouTube channel how he couldn't stand like the Timeless Isle, and how he couldn't stand WoW right now because it's all grindy and everything else. I'm thinking to myself, dude, do you remember vanilla? It was all grindy.
Right. I didn't play in vanilla, but from what I've heard about it, I wouldn't have played in vanilla.
But at the time, you probably would have, because that was still the best thing out there. And I mean, so many things had not occurred to you know, technologically and everything to the point where we are now. And that's the thing. They can nitpick about this, that, and the other, but it always comes down to it looks better in hindsight than it actually was. And if you got stuck with that now, knowing what you know now, you wouldn't like it as much as you think.
Right. And so, Medi, outside of bankrupting your fiance, how do you feel about being able to buy a 90?
Oh my god. There are so many different situations that it can create pros and cons for this, right? Just so many. I think Liz needs to look at how many new players are they getting at any given time. It can't, like, how many new players are they getting per month or per year versus how many are coming back that already know the workings of Warcraft.
Right.
And how many are just, they're like, I took a break. I know what to do. I want to come back.
Right.
You know, because I don't believe that there are that many new players to Warcraft.
Well,
you know, that people are going, well, if they're new, then, and if they get a level 90, they're not going to know how to play. And I'm like, I don't believe that there's going to be that many new players.
Well, see, the thing is there might not be that many new players, but whatever number, right? However many of them the potential new players that may come in without this free 90, they might look at it and be like, oh, because Blizzard's gone through the paces, or going through the steps of making the cost of entry lower, right? With the battle chest constantly adding an expansion to it, right? So you get $15 for the battle chest, and that gets you vanilla, and that gets you BC, that gets you Wrath and Cataclysm, and then you just got to buy Mists. And then, you know, in a year, it's going to include Mists of Pandaria, and then you got to buy Warlords. So you're looking at a $50 or $60 investment, unless you get a collector's edition, that kind of stuff. But whatever, that's your option, right? So now it's just the price of a standard game, maybe a little bit more, and then you get your free 90, and you don't have to go through all this crap. And I don't know.
So, like I was saying.
Yeah, I'm just supporting your point.
Love you, man, but gosh, shut up. Let me do my thing. and like Poikle, and something that Poikle said, you know, she wants, if she's going to have her hard copy of, you know, the collector's edition, I truly believe that they should be able to get that too, that free boost to 90. Because doesn't the collector's edition, the hard copy of the collector's edition?
You'll get that free boost to 90 when you add the key. You just won't get it at the same time as the people doing the digital downloads. As soon as they buy it, they're going to get their free 90. Those of us who are doing the collector's edition won't get it until we add the key to our account. And that's what I was saying. Like, I want that mount. I want that boost to 90. I want, when I buy the collector's edition, and I wish Blizz would figure out a way to let me get those goodies and then give me the box later. That's what I want. But
and something that Bill Gunny had said in the chat room, everyone is afraid of the new people that are going to do that. What about us that have been around for a while and don't want to do the grind? And that's for me, having the free boost to 90, awesome. I'll just boost over a 90 to a 90 Paladin to Airy Peak, so I can have my
right,
you know, Alliance Paladin back. But as far as purchasing 90s, well, if I went to play a warrior, I mean, I'm pretty smart. I mean, I have 7 freaking level 90s. I think I know how to play the damn game.
Right.
You know, by now. And I know that I know that level 1 through etc. grinding. I know that. I've been there, done that.
Right.
And no, I wasn't a vanilla player, but that doesn't give you any more entitlement, or it doesn't make you a better player than I. You know, but still, I don't want to do all that again. You know, and it's not your money. It's not my money either. It's my fiance's. But it's not your money. It's not your life. It's not your game. You're not paying the subscription. Fuck off.
Right.
Let me do what I want to do.
That's my thing is there's actually kind of 3 points that I have.
And if you're worried about bad players, look at LFR already.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah, like I said on Twitter, I went on a mini rant on Twitter when this came out and people started bitching about it. And I was like, hey, you know, people who say you learn to play your class while you're leveling, just go run LFR and you're going to see 25 minus however many people you queued with, right? So if you queued solo, you're going to see 24 other people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And not only did they make it to level cap, but they had to meet an eye level minimum too. And seriously, everybody bitches about how bad 15 people of the 25 in LFR are, or 10 people, whatever. This isn't going to change anything. It's really not. It's just going to remove that barrier to entry for the new people who maybe could come play this game. And on top of that, at BlizzCon, when somebody asked about the farm, and are they going to do anything with the farm, and are we going to have a reason to go back? I don't remember who it was. I think it was Corey Stockton said, we have decided that we are okay with disposable content. So maybe they're okay with not having to go through the 1 through 60 zones and the BC zones and the Wrath zones and the Kata zones and then the Mistapendary zones. Maybe they're okay with that because they realize that it doesn't really add to the game. It really doesn't. To force a new player to go through all that shit, jump back and forth in time, and then you get the lore people who talk about, well, this doesn't make sense because when I roll a new tune, it's Cataclysm with Deathwing, and then I go to BC, which Deathwing hasn't come back yet, and then I go to Wrath, and it's the Lich King, but when I started my tune, the Lich King was dead. So, they're just okay with throwing it away. Sorry, go ahead.
Michael, another thing I have not heard discussed is, what about the new players or the ones that like to level through lower dungeons?
Then
what are the queue times going to be like for them?
I don't know that it'll be that much different. Maybe a little bit longer. I really don't think it'll be that much different because there's still going to be people out there who enjoy leveling. There's still going to be people who, even if you can buy the level 90 tunes, we don't know what they're going to cost. So if a level 90 tune costs $20, I might say, I'm just going to level a tune.
And exactly, Will. And what I said on All Things Azeroth last night was that you kind of get your bread and butter spells at lower levels, and you kind of get a gist of what you're doing when you're questing and running dungeons. But doing dungeons and LFR are completely different things.
I can tell you in terms of Shadow Priest.
Questing and then higher level stuff, completely different things. And you will learn your tune. And I didn't say learn your tune well or learn your class well, but you will learn what a hunter does,
right.
what the hunter spells are. You will learn what a resto shaman should and shouldn't do. Whether or not you play well, that's all on you.
Right. Well, I can tell you just in terms of Shadow Priesting alone, that if you use the same set of spells in questing and leveling that you do in an instance, you're doing it wrong. You're going to be on a mana after 3 mobs, and you're going to have to sit down and drink. If you use the same rotation you use in a raid that you do when you're out questing, you're going to be at the bottom of the DPS charts when you should be at least near the top. I'm not saying you should be at the top, but you should be near the top. The stuff you do with your class when you're questing, especially things that you would learn in raid and dungeons about not standing in poop, you really don't see that while you're leveling. So, I don't know, that argument just holds no... It's really just, like Joe was saying earlier, it's the rose-colored glasses, it's the we did it, you should have to do it too. And frankly, I outgrew that mentality before I got out of high school, and I wish the rest of the player base would too. And I'm not saying everybody has that mentality, but there's a significant portion of them. So, anyway, we should probably move on.
Yes.
I guess I'll just keep going. Joe's been really quiet.
I told you how I felt about that topic.
Yeah.
I'm tired of...
I know you are.
I'm tired of the whole whining and whatever. I'll say this, and I said this on Twitter. Vote with your money. If you don't like something in the game that badly, stop giving Blizzard your money.
I agree.
Shut up. Stop giving them your money and leave the rest of us the fuck alone. There, I'm done.
Thank you, Joe.
Ooh.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it more concisely. Thank you.
There's my FOF.
You might want to let the Sundering folks know that. We don't do that. That's a different show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Synergy. It's Synergy. Catalyst Gaming.
I hate that word.
To what?
I hate that word.
Yeah, I do too. There are some upcoming Siege of Orgrimmar changes. Basically, there's some nerfs coming to Galakras, Doc the Bloodthirsty. Yeah, I guess they did happen yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, this week's raid reset, so that was yesterday. But Galacrest stocked the Bloodthirsty, Siegecrafter, and Paragons. They're all getting a little bit of a nerf. When I first saw this, I thought, and then I thought, hey, you know what that means? Warlords is coming sooner than a lot of us think. Because that's when they start nerfing content. Especially the final tier, that's when they start nerfing it. So I really don't know how much there is to talk about all this, because...
Not much.
Yeah. Because I got a feeling you guys are both like, yeah, that just means Warlords are coming, right?
Well, I mean, honestly, to me, it seems like a lot of this stuff that's coming out is a way to keep people interested in the content. People, especially, like, I mean, not that that's not untrue in terms of what you're saying as well, but it seems like at this point, I don't know, because we don't know. It could be because it's coming sooner, or it could be that it's coming later than we thought, and they're trying to give us little things to give us incentive to keep playing. I don't know.
I'm kind of curious if somebody in the chat room could actually look this up real quick. I would, but I got too many goddamn windows open already. Like, compare the Mist's launch date to when they started nerfing Dragon Soul.
That would be interesting.
Because
they started nerfing that like 5%. Or was it 5 or 10?
It started at 5. It went 5% every month or so.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
But I mean, this is they do this on the final tier, and they do it just as we're starting to get into beta, because they know that everybody they invite to beta, they're going to lose. They're not going to lose, but they're going to play live servers less. And not everybody, but a big chunk. But they do this because if you got a raid guild who's up against a brick wall, it's the final tier, there's a lot of people thinking, well, shit, we're not going to get past this guy, and it's the last tier, so fuck it. I'm just going to unsub. And so they nerf it, so maybe you get that jump that gets you over that hurdle to get that boss down, and then you are re-energized and you stay subbed. So that is why they do this on the final tier. They've pretty much said that, well, Ghostcrawler did back in the day. So I don't know. I'm really kind of curious if somebody would be able to look that up, and I don't know how to look that up. I really don't. I might look it up later, but I don't know. Is there anything else to say about these changes? I mean, they're a day old, but
nah, I think it's pretty standard, like you said, end of an expansion thing.
All right.
Carrying on.
Yep.
Corey Stockton, Mumber, has been busy on Twitter talking about Garrisons. He's made several tweets. I'll just go through the bullet points.
And
Garrisons will...
I just want to say thanks to Ro. He said that the 5% nerf occurred 8 months prior to the Mist release. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to give Ro the shout out. So
that's fine. That steamrolling is allowed. So, Garrisons will allow you to gather without having gathering professions, depending on what you choose. Parentheses, all comes down to what you want to build on your plots. So, this has me kind of curious and kind of concerned about professions and gathering and how that's going to affect the market and my gold making. So we'll see. There will be storehouses that will buff your ability to gather via your garrison. They're considering having portals back to capital cities inside the garrisons with an inn and a flight path already there. It would just be convenient. There will be monuments that let you display PvE and PvP achievements, as well as the stables and pet stables for pets and mounts. There you go. What do y'all guys see?
The things that aren't included in the link from the show notes is somebody asked about the professions thing, and they, like at BlizzCon, somebody asked about them, and they said, yeah, we still need to think about it, because they're like, what about the guy who has the army of alts, and he's got all the professions, and now you're giving him jewel crafting for his garrison if he didn't have jewel crafting on his main tune. Is he going to get screwed because he spent all that time on his alt? And one of the tweets that he put out in the past week or so was, no, the actual profession on an active character will be more beneficial than the guy in the garrison. So basically I think that means, and here's what I don't understand is, they said, yeah, the guys in the garrison, the miners in your garrison will be able to smelt for you. Well, how'd you get the ore? You just had to buy it then. Because if you mined it, then you can fucking smelt it yourself. Yeah, you see what I mean? So I'm really curious how the professions are going to work out. I'm glad that having a tune with the profession is going to be more powerful than the garrison with the profession. I really am. But it would be nice to just send stuff. I want to be able to send my bind on pickup shit that I get out of Flex and LFR and that kind of stuff that I can't use. Let me take it to the Mage Tower and get it DE'd at least. As opposed to just vendoring it for a handful of gold. I'm not asking to get the highest level enchants out of the Mage Tower, but let me at least DE some shit. I'm not sure what I get out of mining and jewel crafting because I'm in a raid, so I'm gonna want the best enchants and the best gems and that kind of stuff. But with the changes they're making to gear, we're not sure how that's gonna work. So I don't know. There's a lot of tweets that are out there. If you just go to his Twitter feed. They're working on it. I mean, that's about the only thing you can take out of his Twitter feed on it. They're working on it, and I don't think it'll be in beta when the beta launches. I think it'll be added much later. Kind of like pet battles. Pet battles weren't live in beta for a long time.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm still not sold on these garrisons, so we'll see.
Moving on.
I think it's kind of cool, but I'm with you, Joe. I'm not sure either.
Here's the thing, and this is what I keep going back to. There's so much of this QQing about this, that, and the other. If they make garrisons like the centerpiece of quality of life things, like portals and stuff like that, despite whatever people complain about, I'll be all for it. I think at this point, Blizzard just needs to throw away all convention and just say, we are starting over and we're doing whatever we want. And there are going to be some things that, if you played since vanilla, that you're going to feel a little bit slighted for because these other people are getting it. And back in my day, blah, blah, blah.
Do you think with the quality of life changes we already know we're getting and the free 90s, do you not think maybe that's part of their thinking?
Well, I do, but that's what I'm saying. I think they need to just kind of have the garrisons be the kind of like in game.
Your personal hub?
Yeah, I mean, have that be the shining example of that. Just go all balls deep with it and just go forget it. This is going to be everything that we want it to be, and we're not going to listen to anybody else, tell us otherwise. Especially like portals. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be. I mean, that's probably why portals got shifted around, because we don't want to make things too easy for people.
There actually was somebody when he said that on Twitter. There was somebody that replied like, "Please don't do this. Portals make the world feel small."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I gotta have somewhere, either in whatever our capital city is going to be or whatever. I need to have a portal back to Stormwind and Orgrimmar, and I need to have that portal. I got to.
A garrison to me has to have advantages, and
right.
I'm sorry, that would be one. And like I said, if they really do just go all out with it and basically if garrisons need, this is the way to put it, if garrisons are quality of life on steroids in World of Warcraft, then I'll be interested. Don't shortcut it. Just make it be our little castle inside the world.
If it ends up being player housing glorified,
right.
No thanks. Really,
that's what I'm saying.
Care.
Exactly. It has to be more functional than that to me, or I don't care.
Yeah, for all the people out there who want player housing, more power to you. That's great if this is what you're getting. I don't care. I don't want to. It's not worth my time.
Yeah,
it's got to give me a bump in game for me to,
but that's the thing though. This is not even close to player housing. If it was player housing, like I saw Lasana say earlier, somebody, I can't remember who it was from Blizzard, I think it was Blizzard, tweeted out, if you could have a place, a home in WoW, where would it be? And of course for Druid, she's like, I'd still like to have a house for my Druid in Moonglade. And if they were really going to do some kind of player housing and have it just be that, it would be something to that effect. This is much bigger than that, and they need to just acknowledge it's beyond that.
Yeah, but if they did that, then they would still have to go back and re-engineer some of those old zones.
Well, no, I understand, but I'm just saying, if it was just player housing for that cosmetic sake, yeah, they could do other things. But garrisons have way too many functions to them already, and it's apparent that that's the direction they're going for people like you and I in particular that don't care about player housing. So just go completely nuts with it. Don't hold back, please. Just go nuts.
Anyway, Medi, did you have anything to add for?
Nope.
All right, so we got a couple new mounts. One of them kind of came up just kind of out of the blue in the store, and it's the Sky Reaver, and that came out I think the day after we recorded last week. Is that right, Joe?
I believe so.
It's a cool looking mount. It's a really cool looking mount. Not sure it's worth my $25, but it's a cool looking mount. It's a 2-headed dragon with all kinds of armor, and it's got fucking afterburners on it, for crying out loud. So I mean, how can you go wrong, right?
And it is tied directly to Warlords because it is a dark iron mount.
Right, and it's tied to the lore of Warlords. And Joe, you were pointing out that there's some interesting potential bugs that I don't want to say bugs, but I'll just let you explain it. Yeah, I'll just let you explain it.
Well, it's interesting as it came about. I didn't understand how it occurred because it really occurred overnight for us here in the U.S. I mean, there was no kind of even like we talked about this other mount that they just revealed. There was no kind of little, hey, look at this. I mean, it was on the PTR and whatever else, but there's no indication. All of a sudden, the next day, we just all woke up to this mount. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And as I woke up to it and was seeing all the information about all this stuff leaking out, I looked in the store here in NA servers and, in game and out. It wasn't available to us. It was available in the EU. I was reading about all kinds of things about how it came about. And one of the stories was that it was an in-game bug. I mean, think about it. We've never really had an in-game store before, and somehow something happened, and there have been a lot of server issues and stuff. Somebody apparently in Australia or something was able to purchase it and was sitting there in town with it, and people were like trying to. This was on Reddit. People were freaking out trying to ask him how he got it, and he wasn't saying. And the theory goes that since it got out and other people started purchasing and everything, it was way too far gone at that point, and they weren't. I mean, it would be a PR nightmare for Blizzard to be like, no, we're gonna take those back. We didn't mean for this to happen. Blah blah blah. So they just went, well, okay, here they are, and that was at least several people's prevailing thought on how the whole thing occurred again. And there are certain things to substantiate it in my mind in that it was available in EU. It didn't become available to us until later on in the day when, like, West Coast in particular, when Blizzard employees would be getting to the office and all that sort of thing. So there's some things that say that it just kind of, you could see the domino effect coming from the EU over here as to, we're going to just release this now. And it wasn't a kind of a coordinated effort and just gone out all at the same time. So I don't know any the validity of any of it. Don't get me wrong. It's just, to me, it's an interesting kind of story and potential, tinfoil hat kind of information, but it's out there now, whether it was supposed to be or not. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a decent mount. I played around with it a little bit in the PTR, like you said, afterburners and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess my thing is it's a cool looking mount, but I'm gonna kind of paraphrase what Seraph said on Azeroth Pirate Radio. I feel like I get a better entertainment value out of my $20 when I buy a pack of cards or $20 worth of cards in Hearthstone than I do out of the $25 that mount gives me.
No, I agree.
It's a beautiful mount, and I'm not saying it's not worth money. It's your money. Decide what you want, but I would rather spend $20 on some cards in Hearthstone than $25 on a mount.
Yeah, and
so I think Blizzard needs to rethink some of their prices, really.
No, I agree with that, and I've said that for a while now. I just don't. I mean, not that I haven't participated in other things like server transfers and whatever else, but I've, for a while now, especially as times have gotten tough financially and everything, I have a hard time making any kind of sense of spending more on any one particular thing than I do on a month of Warcraft for $15.
Right.
I just can't. I can't justify it. So I would never do anything unless it was on sale. So
right. The other thing that we got a glimpse of, Blizzard put out on the World of Warcraft social media sites, is a new flying mount, which is basically Anzu, right? And I honestly, I've not heard and granted, since this came out, I'm kind of behind on podcasts, so I know there's been podcasts produced and released since this has been leaked, or no, not even leaked. That's not the right word. Since this has been posted,
Revealed.
Revealed. Thank you. If anybody thinks this is not the Warlords Collector's Edition and Deluxe Edition mount, they're insane. I'm just saying. Think about it. We're going back to Draenor. There's a dungeon in what is Sethic Halls where Anzu was in Burning Crusade. I mean, come on.
Right. And it could be. I mean, I would, and then that lends into the whole Sky Reaver theory, as if like maybe the Sky Reaver was supposed to be, and then this happened, and they're like, oh, well, maybe it'll be this now. I don't know.
I don't. If the Sky Reaver was never intended to be in the store, no bug would have put it in the store.
No, I agree, but I mean, that's just tinfoil hat. But to me, I think I thought the Sky Reaver was too. So I mean, I could easily just translate that into it being the CE mount, but. To me, I kind of hope it's another version of Anzu that we have to farm. But part of that is, again, rose-colored glasses. I had to get Anzu the first time. Other people have to get this new one the same way I got the old one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Collector's and Deluxe Edition because I think it's more of the trickle news of Warlords is coming. This is what you're going to get with it. I don't know that they've even decided yet what mounts we're going to get for different achievements or bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and actually, have we gotten a mount off a boss? I guess we got some in Cataclysm. There was a couple bosses in 5-mans. Were there any 5-man bosses in Myths that dropped mounts?
I don't think there are any 5-man ones. No.
Because there were in Cataclysm. There was a couple, but
yeah, absolutely. But I don't think there's any 5-man ones, and because they were going away from 5-man content, so I think it was less of a priority.
Right. Be interesting to see what the comments that were made around 5-mans, that they kind of want to make them more prominent than what Miss said. So it would be interesting to see what they do there.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing is, Medi, you want to take this one? Because you were kind of fired up in the pre-show.
Nope, I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Chris Robinson, who is one of the art directors, I think he's the art director, right, for World of Warcraft?
Yes, he's the head one.
Posted something on Twitter. When was this? This was on the 21st, so yesterday. And it's just a black and white picture of what appears to be the
armpit hair. I'm just kidding.
It's what? What'd you say?
Armpit hair.
Armpit hair. Well, we were talking. Well, actually, before we even started the pre-show, we called it pubes, but.
No, you called it pubes.
Well, yeah, but you all agreed and laughed, so laughter's agreement, right?
Sure. That's what I say in my head.
But the thing is, like Medi was saying before we started recording, this kind of looks like the hair from the old models. It doesn't look like it's been updated. But to me, it kind of looks like the hair from Human Female. Joe, you started to say something, but didn't actually say it. I guess maybe it could be Blood Elf Female too, right?
Yeah, it could be, and I think we're looking at like the very tail end, the very small. I mean, that's why I think it's going to be better than what we're thinking, because that looks like almost the side of a human female's head at this point, at this stage. But I think we're looking at a very tiny, the very bottom. So it's going to look better than.
I'm kind of thinking that that's either a very zoomed in, like kind of like what you're saying, a very zoomed in shot of like what would be around their shoulder blades or something.
Mm-hmm. But and it has to be human because it kind of looks like the Lordaeron seal, the Lordaeron crest. Sorry, that's just something I just noticed. It actually kind of does. Look, see the L? Anyway, sorry.
It kind of does.
Sorry.
Holy shit.
I see weird
Oh,
things.
gosh.
Do you see it, Medi?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Holy shit, Joe.
Sorry.
Wow.
Nerd.
I still
Nerd,
think it's human female, and I honestly think that this is either a very, very zoomed in shot, or it is the current human female, just to say that's going to be the next model we see. It's one of those two.
Well, and the important thing here is they talked about Thursday or Friday for a potential release for the blog on these, so we may see them very, very soon.
Right. It could be tomorrow. For those of you in the live room, or in the live room?
As opposed to the undead room.
Yeah, I've had a whole bottle of wine. Go to hell.
All right.
But yeah, it's still I can't wait to see it. I'm still like I know a lot of people raved about them, but I'm still like I don't get the undead models. Like I don't feel it. The new ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, human bodies don't decompose evenly. That's the problem I have. Is there?
How do you know this? Creepy bastard.
Because
you're talking in a game of dragons and gnomes that you're worried
But
about.
no, yeah, but my point is the current undead models, like their left leg is all decomposed, but their right leg still got some meat on it. But the new ones, which are more high fidelity, I can't believe I actually said that word. They're even, and it doesn't seem right. It looks good, like the artwork is good, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel right to me.
Okay.
So, anyway. Anyway, one last thing, and we're actually going a little long. One last thing is everybody can stop bitching now. The Hearthstone open beta is here. It came out yesterday? Tuesday.
Yes.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
And it was just released for the EU.
Yep.
Yeah. US started yesterday. EU started a little bit later. Open beta is here. So my understanding is you can just go to create a Battle.net account and play it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I did tonight.
So I'm kind of curious. Honestly, I'm seeing a lot of bugs. My girlfriend's seeing a lot of bugs, like graphics glitches and stuff. I'm kind of curious, considering Blizzard's track record of the past, how many years that I've been playing Blizzard's games since Warcraft 1. I'm kind of curious how they're going open beta with the bugs that I'm seeing. And that I know other people are seeing. It just doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem right for Blizzard to me.
Yeah.
Where, like, for example, if I sap a card, if I'm playing a rogue, and I haven't played a rogue in forever, but if I sap a card and send it back to the player's hand, like the back side of the card with the Hearthstone logo on it and everything, it kind of hovers above all of their minions, so I can't see. It just stays there until they play that card again.
Well, the worst one is if you have two cards that flop on top of each other in your hand and you can't pick the other one that you want. That's the one that kills me.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I'm legitimately surprised that they're going open beta with some of the bugs like that seem to be. I'm not saying they're easy to fix, but they should be fixed before you go to open beta, because open beta with Blizzard typically means stress testing, not bug fixing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There seems to be plenty of bugs still, and they're not game breaking by any stretch of the imagination. It happens, some of those happen like once a week for me.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know.
Don't get to them.
Maybe they decided, hey, it's free to play. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's not Blizzard.
Yeah, they'll. I mean, there's one with the Defender of Argus where you put that card between two others and it gives them taunt and stuff. That was completely borked earlier in the week. I mean, you would put it down and it would go to the left of wherever you put it, so it wouldn't do it correctly. So, but they hot fixed that and it seems to be working.
Yeah, and earlier I had like if you have a knife juggler, like, and maybe that's part of the knife juggler that's not on the card, but I had a knife juggler out, and every time I would attack with a minion, like my minions would reorder themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that still occurs somewhat.
Yeah. So, anyway, Medi, you wanna take this last part here before we go into the last part?
Until the real last part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Recount. I guess that's when we just kind of talk about stuff.
Like we haven't been talking about stuff for an hour.
I know, and I'm like, oh god, come on, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom. Let's go. So we're in the very beginning stages of bringing everything together in fruition.
Who's been drinking?
I've been drinking coffee.
With what in it? Irish cream?
I don't know. Maybe I do need some booze, and I'll start talking better. Anyways, Child's Play Marathon happening again soon. TM. We did this April 2000. We did this last year, right?
April 2013. Yes.
I keep thinking we did that in 2012.
No, it was just less than a year ago. It was 10 months ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we still haven't have any of the details worked out. So we need to get together and talk. So yeah, y'all take it away.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to add to that
Sorry.
is it's going to be another 24-hour marathon. Roughly the same thing. Not sure we're going to do the tournaments again. We're still, like Medi said, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do it, what we're going to do. But we're looking, we're not going to be in April this year. We're looking at mid-May time frame, give or take a week. So we don't have anything ironed out yet, but just wanted to let you guys know that we are planning that. Last time we raised, I feel horrible about this, but we raised just over $1,200, I think. $1,200? Is that right? We had a goal of $1,000.
I think that's right. I think it's $1,200.
I want to say it was like $1,260 we raised. Honestly, guys, I want to double that. I want to go for 25 this year.
Nice.
I think we can do it. Some of the folks from Catalyst Gaming Media, some of the stuff we're talking about, we're going to have the other folks from Catalyst Gaming Media helping us promote it. They're going to be involved. Once we figure out what we're doing, we're going to figure out how to involve as many folks as we can. And if you're a podcaster, a blogger, or whatever, and you want to be involved and not part of Catalyst Gaming Media, that's fine too.
God.
What? What?
People can join. You don't have to be part of
Right.
CGM.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You can come join us and hang out. Last time, Skonik did a Warcraft Less Traveled live, and we kind of went around and showed some of the stuff that he'd covered in Warcraft Less Traveled. He's not part of Catalyst Gaming Media, and if he's willing to do that again this year, I am all about having Skonik come do that again. So.
And let me touch on something that Rose said in the chat room. As far as tournaments go, I'm not too sure that we're going to be doing tournaments again this year.
I will not host a Hearthstone tournament until Hearthstone has a spectator mode.
Right.
Because otherwise, there's nothing.
Battle tournaments, StarCraft tournaments.
I don't mind StarCraft. I don't want to deal with what we dealt with last time, and same way with anything else. I will not do a StarCraft tournament, I will not do a Hearthstone tournament. I will not do a pet battle tournament until there is a spectator mode, especially when I'm talking about for a live stream, because the spectator has nothing to watch.
Yeah.
And the whole point of doing a live stream is to give people shit to watch. So I'm not going to do a Hearthstone tournament.
Now, there might possibly be a timed flex run between the Alliance and the Horde.
There could be. And there could be, maybe, depending on where things come with the Heroes of the Storm beta, there could be some fun stuff happening with that. We'll see.
Maybe some Sky Golem mounts for giveaways and other giveaways.
Could be. So anyway, yeah, we keep hinting at shit and we don't have anything on paper yet. So.
But you might dye her pink if we raise a certain amount. Lignar may dye his hair pink if we raise a certain amount of money.
Only if it washes out the next day.
It will.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I might do that.
Cool.
Wow.
I don't give a shit. If it washes out the next day and it gets money for sick kids in hospital, I'll do pretty much anything.
If it does wash out the next day.
Oh, it will.
Okay.
Anyway, we've gone a little long, which is the first time in a long time that we've done that.
That's what she said.
Damn.
You were.
You've been raiding with Furt, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, because that sounds like mumble. Anyway, guys, if you're listening live, go out to iTunes, go out to Stitcher, give us a thumbs up, leave a review. If you're listening on the download, you can join our live show and our chat at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays at epicpodcast.com/live or twitch.tv/epicpodcast. Epic Podcast is a member of Catalyst Gaming Media. Be sure to check out the other podcasts, YouTubers, bloggers, webcomics, and more at catalystgamingmedia.com. Also, be sure to check out the forums on Catalyst's website. Participate in the growing community there. And speaking of, there's a giveaway from 10 folks involved with Catalyst Gaming Media. We will be giving our reveal next week. But you need to go out to Catalyst Gaming Media, log into the forums, and there is a section for Catalyst Gaming Media contests. Go out there. Seraphis from the Sundering and Azeroth Pirate Radio put a post out there to kind of give you an idea of what you need to do. You'll get our reveal next week. I would really like to wait till the week after because it's episode 150, but I can't. We can't.
No.
So, but anyway, go out and check out the forums. Read that post from Seraphis, and you'll hear our stuff next week. That's our involvement in that contest. Other than that, is there anything else I need to add? Because I just kind of did that last part just on the fly. So, do you guys?
No.
Is there anything I missed?
Perfect.
Okay,
No, that's good.
great. All right. So you can visit our website at epicpodcast.com. You can shoot an email to. You don't shoot the podcast.
Please
That's
don't.
almost what I almost said. You can shoot an email to the podcast at epicpodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/theepicpodcast. You can visit Joe's YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/wowmartian. That's WOWMARTIEAN. You can follow the. I've done this how many times and I'm fucking it up. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at epic_podcast. You can follow me at Lignar. You can follow Joe at WowMartian, spelled just like his YouTube channel, and you can follow Medi at Medicakes.
Yep.
I can't believe I fucked that up. I've done it 140 some odd times. Anyhow, that's it for this week, guys. What?
It happens to men sometimes.
Oh, Jesus, you went there.
Especially as you get older. It's all right.
Hey, you're older than me, bitch.
So what? I got pills, bitch.
Alrighty, it's time to go.
All right,
Facts.
until next week, have fun a while, y'all.